The big craze at Airventure is EVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing. But really there's only one company that's got one working. We're going to talk to them in the hangar. Hello everyone, welcome to Airventure. We're at the Flying Eyes booth, special in the hangar. I'm Dan Millican.
And I'm Christy Wong. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors who gave us this space, Flying Eyes Optics. If you're here, you can get 10% off by using our discount code. If you're not here, you can go online and use our discount code, taking off all caps, one word.
And speaking of online, we're also sponsored by Colton Mortgage. If you need a residential mortgage or a refi, go to coltontakingoff.com. And Marshall Protection Services, mpsprotects.com. These guys are pilots. We love them. I hope you can love them by supporting them.
And speaking of pilots, I think.
Yeah, so you know what, Christy, last year I was here and there was some talk about EVTOL. I went and I interviewed somebody that had a model and they've done a flight or two.
2019, I did the same thing. I was walking around and I saw some people and I talked to them and whatnot.
But nobody was really flying it. And then last year, there was a really cool demonstration flight of the BlackFly. And this year, we brought Ken Karkland on, the CEO of BlackFly, right?
CEO of Opener. I've been with the company about 9 weeks as of today.
9 weeks, okay. So tell us about the company. Tell us about how in the world you guys are leading the race in EVTOL, because EVTOL is everywhere here, but not many people actually have it working.
Well, Opener has been making just a magnificent journey for the last over 8 years. Through now 3 generations of personal EVTOL aircraft. And now we're on the BlackFly V3, and that was actually demo flown here at OSH last year. This year we're flying actually 4 flights, 2 of them on the main runway and 2 of them in the ultralight area. And we're going to be showing some new maneuvers and a lot of forward cruise flight, and showing how we've advanced the state of the aircraft, and hopefully on our way to delivering safe, enjoyable, actually downright thrilling personal aviation to everybody who wants to be part of it.
So I saw this thing last night at the ultralight area, and it looks like a human drone, but it sounds like a swarm of angry bees. What is this thing?
Well, you know, it is not a multicopter. There are some multicopter solutions out there. This technically would be considered a hybrid VTOL because it actually has wings and it transitions to forward flight like an ordinary airplane. If you look at it closely, it's a derivative of a biplane.
Interesting.
And it has 8 very powerful electric motors, which are capable of getting it up off the ground really quickly. In fact, that's one of the first things our operators tell us about after their first flight is, wow, I thumbstick up and I was up in the air and boom, and kind of giving us the analogy of a Tesla Model S in ludicrous mode, if you will. But it's just a joy to fly. It gets you up there and then you transition to forward flight, and then it does not sound like a swarm of angry bees. In fact, when it's in forward flight, you can hardly hear a thing.
You know, I will say that it was very quiet when it was moving.
What is the market for the BlackFly?
Well, where we will be directing our marketing sales of BlackFly is the Part 103 recreational ultralight market. And we strongly believe that with a solution like BlackFly, which is capable of vertical and traditional forward flight, that can be flown very easily. I could teach you how to fly it probably 15 minutes, and you'd be great for all nominal flight. Our anticipated training syllabus is actually a little bit longer than that, a few days. We want to do our part to make the community extremely safe. We're aiming at that personal air vehicle market, and
You have to have
it will grow that personal air vehicle market because of its capabilities.
Do you have to have like a light sport or a private pilot?
No license is required.
Okay, so it's like a
pilot
paramotor.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Oh,
Excellent.
interesting. And what have been the biggest obstacles in coming to market?
Well, overall, it's just the development of a novel aircraft. and ensuring that the users are going to be successful with it. And that takes painstaking years of iteration in design, iteration in the controls, validating the safety systems. Over the course of the last year, the company's been deeply involved in looking at all the what-if corner cases and ensuring that that operator is going to be safe flying that vehicle when there is a malfunction, when there is a gust of wind, when multiple motors fail. And the other thing that they've done is they've developed a full aircraft parachute. So all else fails, there is a full aircraft parachute, as long as you're about 120 feet, should safely deploy, delivering the BlackFly safely to Earth.
Interesting. What happens if you lose one of the propellers or one of the engines?
Well, if you notice it happening, because there's actually 8 of them and they're all working together, the aircraft will actually shut down the polar opposite motor.
Okay.
So it remains gyroscopically balanced. Now you've still got 6 motors, collectively with more than enough margin for you to do a safe return to home and safe vertical landing.
Interesting. That's really good to know, because that was one of the questions I had last night when I was watching it. I was like, I had so many questions that are getting answered.
How soon are you to market?
Well, so we're still in what I would call our durability and reliability build-up phase with lots of human operators. So multiple operators, multiple aircraft. We're flying almost every day when we're back at Palo Alto, California. We'll be doing that throughout the summer. A little later on, we need to validate the flying high and hot case. So we'll probably be doing that somewhere like Fort Collins, Colorado, or maybe Lake Tahoe. Looking forward to maybe some good photo ops out there.
I was going to say, just bring it to Texas. We're always hot up.
You're hot and heavy there.
Yeah.
We're actually also doing electromagnetic compatibility validation. I challenge you to identify another ultralight manufacturer that's going to bring their vehicle into an anechoic chamber and ensure that there aren't any bad outcomes when somebody brings a transmitter on board.
I want to see that.
Oh, right.
So after we get through that validation, we'll be entering what we're calling phase 1 of our early access program. We've identified a small group of Amicus customers who want to participate in this. They want to buy a BlackFly, they want to bring it home, they want to fly it, and they also want to share the information with us. They also want to be the first ones to go through our training, the fitment process in the aircraft, and exercise the whole process of taking possession of that aircraft. Informed by that, we'll open that up to a larger phase with more participants, bigger geography, and based on how that goes, I'll be able to tell you exactly what day you can get your BlackFly.
Well, speaking of telling me exactly, so when can I fly it?
Well, you'll have to get in line, and there's a lot of people who want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And you'll have to go through the training. And
15 minutes, as you said.
Well, 15 minutes I can teach you how to fly.
Right, no,
15 minutes, you might not be prepared for everything that could happen.
Right.
You might not be prepared to do the flight planning. So there's a little bit more to it than that. But love to have you in our sim chairs anytime. Again, it's really easy to learn how to fly. But there's a lot of us at Opener who are lined up, myself included, to complete training and also become an operator.
So you have not flown it?
Not yet.
The
not
CEO
yet.
is in line.
He's in line. So
incredible.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us about what's going on. Out of all the EVTOLs, this is the one that's really been grabbing my attention.
It actually works.
It actually works.
All right.
Well, thank you. And we hope to continue to build on that success of flight. And we're looking forward to being probably one of the first EVTOL shops in Silicon Valley or elsewhere that's in serial production, that has customers and are putting smiles on the face of a lot of people who are enjoying personal aviation, some for the first time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time.
And thank you guys for watching. And as always, don't forget our sponsors, Flying Eyes. Use the code TAKINGOFF, all caps, one word, for 10% off. And Colton Mortgage, ColtonTakingOff.com, Marshall Protective Services. We can't do it without them.
And we can't do it without you. So like, subscribe, share if you like our content, and we'll see you next time.
In the hangar.